Hello and welcome to what will be the first of hopefully several of how to solo or retro raid runs. This is Ultimus, and the whole idea for this little series will be to either take you back to experience, see old content, maybe show you where it is, show you how to possibly best a couple mechanics. Everything at this point in the game is fairly soloable. Pretty much anything old content, especially anything back from classic. The only thing that keeps anybody from really doing anything is mechanics usually. And so what we're going to do today is Molten Core. It's kind of funny calling this a how to solo in Molten Core, since people have been soloing Molten Core for the past couple X packs, but figured it'd be a fun place to start. You will find it in Syrian Gorge. Best place to go is take your flight path to Thorium Point, and you will fly down to Black Rock Mountain. And what we have here is a full set of the Warrior Tier 1, equipped with the Arcanite Reaper. This is typically what or I shouldn't say typically, but ideally a good representation of what a warrior class would look like in Vanilla WoW. And this of course is what the full set looks like, completely transmogged or equipped. Now to get to Molten Core, you're going to fly to the center here, and it's actually going to be down here at the bottom. You can fly down here. Now there is a quest to get in there. Talk to this guy, he gives you the quest. Here is the entrance to the instance where you're going to be doing your attunement quest for Molten Core. What you're going to do to get here is from where you originally talked to that blood elf, you are going to take a right into that doorway. Just follow it in. Now keep going, following the path down and to the left, and you eventually get your way in front of that instance entrance. You're going to go through here, go through this gate. And you're going to make your way down here. And basically where you're going is up here on the map. You'll see that center little place there. This is where we're going through. And eventually what we're going to do is we're going to get to there, and we're going to drop down and swim through the lava. And this will take you directly to the entrance of Molten Core, where you will find the core fragment you're looking for, which is the requirement to get into Molten Core. Back in the day, a lot of old raids, they had attunements where you had to go through and do these quests in order to even get into the stinking things. There's some mixed feedback on people whether they think the being done away with attunements was good, bad. Most don't care. Most never even heard of it, so it doesn't even matter. You just hear a bunch of disgruntled vanilla players going on about the good old days and back in my day. So, if you jump down, obviously not going to die. Doesn't do enough damage, so you should be fine. And you're going to be heading your way down up to this area here. Is kind of your marker point. You'll see these guys just kind of swim toward that ridge where you see the 4 elementals. Yeah, epic leap. And from there we're going to walk straight across here. And curve our way up to get on top of this bridge. Here, something you're looking to make maybe a little extra gold. The time that may have to get put into it may not be worth it, but these dark iron deposits here, depending again on your server's economy, they can sell for quite a bit. They take a lot of the ore to make a bar as well. Down here in this corner, here is the only place you can smelt dark iron. So once you get them, if you have a blacksmith, you'll come down here, and this place right here, the Black Forge, is the only place you can forge those dark iron bars. You can't do them at a normal forge in any city. That has not yet been updated in any version of WoW. But here's the entrance to Molten Core if you want to just walk in. As you can see, it's pretty easy to get to. But what you're going to do then is you'll get down here up towards the entrance. You can sort out these mobs if you wish, and this is what you're looking for here. This will be glowing. You're able to click on like the core fragment, And then what you can do to kind of cheat your way, instead of having to walk all the way back or hearth and then flat back, is you can actually walk into the entrance of Molten Core and then walk back out, and it will take you and port you right back out by the Blood Elf. You can complete your quest and then you can talk to him, and he will teleport you right into the Molten Core. Here we are in Molten Core. Very simple. Now what you can do for starters is you can grab these two mobs here, get them out of the way first. This is also where you will be coming if you would like to pick up reputation for the, oh, I forgot the faction, Hydrixian Overlord, something along those lines. I think it's required for the insane achievement, maybe, question mark. Basically, get nice, good rep from here. I think this is the only place to get it. Now, this is one of the old raids where you have to complete all of the bosses to get to Ragnaros, who is the last boss in this raid. Shouldn't take you too long. Most of the time you can get done with this place in about 15 to 20 minutes. Nothing in here is too hard. Nothing really will kill you. Pretty soloable for any class, not just a warrior. Back in the day, it was kind of fun. This is just how much the game has changed, is that you actually needed a ton of gear with fire resistances. Resistances used to be a major part of the game. The only challenge right now still in this raid are actually these guys right here, these core hounds. They have to be killed within, I believe the timer is 10 seconds of each other, or they will actually respawn each other. So you get some good AoE up there and you shouldn't have any problems. First boss here is Lucifron. Now what's kind of cool about these old raids is how they did gear differently. Was everything was class specific. You didn't have tokens, but you actually had gear that dropped specifically for a class. But the thing that made it very interesting was also that it was actually spec specific, so you really wouldn't see too many arms warriors running around in an old raid. It was kind of funny, and it was really kind of sucked actually. If you weren't tanking, you weren't coming along. It's just the way it worked. It kind of just a very, very different feel from where the game is at now, to where there's so many different types of tanks, and you have so many different viable ways to play and spec out your raid. Is kind of nice, the freedom in it. But yeah, like if you'll look and you'll see like all the stat bonuses, the set bonuses are all 3 set bonus is for dodge, the 5 set bonus is extra rage whenever damage is dealt to you, so very just tank heavy set. And that was the only tier set. That was your warrior tier 1. That was the only stats. Those were your bonuses, and that's just the way it was. You just kind of had to deal with it. Just very, very different from how the game is now. Some like it, some hate it. I guess if you're watching the video and you've been around since vanilla, or if you have an opinion on it now, feel free to leave it in the comments. Maybe we'll spark some fun discussion. Only pain in the butt really with this place mobility wise is just trying not to make sure you fall in the lava. It's a pain in the butt to get out of. It's possible, and obviously you're not going to die, but it's just one big pain in the butt. This place is pretty big. It's unfortunate that they never let you mount inside of here, but it is what it is. I'm trying to see how many other fun facts we can kind of pull out of our butt for this place. What else? This is actually, if you're looking to make a little extra gold, depending on your server's economy, a lot of the mobs in there, I believe it's specifically these Molten Giants over here, but they drop a particular mat called the Blood of the Mountain. It's a green gem, and you need it to craft, you need it as a part of your legendary quest for the Hand of Rag, I believe. And so those tend to sell for a hefty chunk of gold, because they are a pretty they have a pretty low drop chance for just being a green item. I've seen them go as high as 1,500 a piece, so if you're into that sort of thing, feel free. Something else worth mentioning that's very, it might be obvious, but it's worth bringing up is that you won't find any sets for DKs or monks here, simply because obviously they weren't around during Classic WoW. That is probably the biggest downside to all of these sets being class specific, is that because they are class specific item drops, like I couldn't take these Lawbringer gauntlets and use them for my DK to transmog, simply because they will not work. They are a class specific drop, so that's a bit unfortunate, but there's some cool weapons in here that will drop. The Obsidian Edge Blade is one that drops. It's a pretty cool little sword. Handy add-on to have, very commonly used, but worth it, especially if your transmog hunting is Atlas loot. Gives you a breakdown of all the mobs, what they drop, and even the older stuff, it'll give you a drop chance percentage, which is pretty helpful. Now, in this section, we're going to start moving in toward the latter half of the raid. From a couple of these bosses in here, what you're going to find now is they have a chance to drop the right and left portion of the Hilt of Thunder Fury, which is what is necessary to do your quest for Thunder Fury. Pretty legit one-handed sword from Classic WoW. Very popular amongst tanks and rogues, actually. The way they used to divvy up gear and stuff back in the day too was that it wasn't like anybody could roll on anything they wanted. There was a lot of priorities, and you would hand out gear to your main tanks, or you do it on a rotation system to where not one person was just getting all the gear and then the rest of your guildies weren't getting geared up for raids. Just because there was a heavy emphasis on progressive raiding, and progression raiding, I should say, back in the day, and so you had all the stuff divvied up. Like if you won gear the week before, you wouldn't get it the next week or something like that, or you wouldn't get first chance or things like that. So it was pretty rare to see a DPS warrior with a Thunder Fury, because typically it was handed out for tanks. Now on this boss, Golemag the Incinerator, his 2 core ragers don't actually die until he dies. You just kill him and then down they go. Boy, it's a bummer I already got my warrior all decked out with this might set, or I would be getting pretty close to the full set on this run. Now, keep the map open often just so you guys can kind of see where we're going, what's going on. We could have walked straight across that bridge up top there and hit up some of the bosses over there first, but I like to drop down. It just seems to be a little bit quicker for me, at least. But as you can see, we're just blasting through this. I mean, not like you would really expect it to take very long unless you were just here to admire the atmosphere. It's still a really cool design. I think the place looks awesome. I don't know. People have mixed feelings about this raid. It's kind of funny. You have people who love it for the nostalgia but hated it because of how much time they spent in it. You would spend months, if not longer, depending on how good your guild was, just getting this raid on farm status and getting it down. Just the fights and the time that was spent in it was just ridiculous. Yeah, there is just so much. And so some people, you talk to them about what their favorite old school raid was. Ooh, fancy. And very rare will you hear someone say that Molten Core was their favorite. Typically, it's just unheard of. But there are a couple. I like it for the aesthetic, not for the memories. I actually didn't get to raid Molten Core back in my day when I was playing Vanilla WoW, because I was a noob and I had no idea what I was doing, so I was nowhere near geared enough, skilled enough, or anything. That, and also I didn't play a Prot Warrior, so they wouldn't have had room for me anyways. Something else that's very interesting and worth noting about Molten Core was that typically nowadays in the game, Frost Mages are looked at as being kind of the go-to PvP spec for mages. From what I understand, they're doing pretty well chart-wise, like damage for raiding. But they were actually, if I'm not mistaken, required for Molten Core, because in the early stages of Molten Core, Ragnaros absorbed fire damage, so you had to have Frost Mages if you wanted to be able to do that heavy caster range DPS. Now here with Major Domo Executus, this is the last boss here before we get to Ragnaros. He will not summon until you've beaten all the other bosses in here, so this is why it's important to just go and get the other bosses done first before you cart your way up here, or you'll be wasting your time. The Flamewalker healers will heal the other mobs around them, so just slap some heavy AoE on it and it should be okay. If you're fresh geared 90, you might have a little bit of trouble with it, just overall AoE and things like that, but most classes have been soloing this raid again since you know, Cataclysm, if nothing else. Core Hound 2, fancy. Rogues love that one. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. If you are having a hard time with it and struggling with maybe downing those mobs before they heal, put raid markers on them. You can give that a try and help you identify where they're at. And it helps with just making sure you don't lose track of them, so you can get on them, interrupt heals if you want. But like I said, most of the time they tend to go down pretty quick with no real struggle or effort. Especially with Bladestorm as a warrior. Just kind of chops everything down in its way. So now after we're done with Major Domo Executus, we're going to walk over the back here, and if you follow this path around, you're going to see it curve, and we're going to go on over here, and then we're going to walk around in circles for a bit. And hopefully get there within the next couple minutes. Alright, now as you can see, we are in Ragnaros' lair. This room always reminded me of a cinnamon roll, just the way it loops around. Cinnamon rolls. So you're basically going to just cart around here and get your way over here. You can't really hop in the lava from here and get up onto those ledges of those rocks. They're just a little bit too high for the character to jump up. But you can, once you get around to the back side over here, you can jump up over top of it and you should be okay. Again, none of these mobs are extremely hard. More so just for the nostalgia on this one. Thought it would be a good place to start with the series. Just hit up the Molten Core. Go through, talk to him, a little RP event if you're into that sort of thing. And you can spend, if you're transmog hunting, you could spend 1-2 runs in here. You could spend months in here trying to get your particular set to drop. You know how that goes. I went years never seeing a single, Thunder Fury hilt drop, and then the funny thing was that first time I came in here to do this at 90, I got the left half to drop. Came in next week, got the right half to drop. And just kind of laughed at myself with that one. And then just the other week when I came in here again, I got them to both drop in the same run. So that was the thing. It's kind of funny. Look, you can see just how different the textures and things are. The game has come a long way graphics wise. It was Ragnaros before they gave him feet. Always reminds me of Jafar from Aladdin. Woo! Storm bolting it up. These Dunskies. Now, how they worked gearing and rating and progression and all of that in vanilla WoW was actually you had to typically go to multiple different raids to get your full tier. And so what we mean by that is you actually had your full tier 1 drop here in Molten Core, but your tier 2 leggings dropped in here. And so there's a gorgeous little dagger for the rogues. And so yeah, you would have all these leggings here. These are actually for your tier 2 pieces. And so you would come here to Molten Core to get your tier 2 leggings, and you would finish up your tier 2 rating tier in Blackwing Lair. I almost forgot the name of my favorite raid. But yeah, and so typically all these old bosses as well, what they dropped, their final bosses, they dropped lower level blues that were bind and equipped. You could sell, send to alts, all that jazz, disenchant, whatever. But yeah, so that's Molten Core. I'm thinking we'll do, let's do Encourage next. We'll do AQ, and then we will do something else after that. My goal, the plan for the series is to go through and do just kind of everything in order. As far as we'll do the classic raids, then we'll do Burning Crusade, and then we'll hit up some of the Wrath of the Lich King raids. And then at that point, we'll do some other stuff and see where this goes. Yeah, it should be fun. That'll be cool. If you guys have any questions, if I missed anything, if I was flat out wrong on any facts I tried to pull out of my butt, please leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. I do plan on continuing to put out a few PvP movies. And by movies, I guess I should say little clips. I am currently collecting clips and working on things for a full-length PvP montage. It should be kind of fun. Just what YouTube needs, right? More warrior PvP videos. But it should be fun. I'm hoping you guys will stick with me and continue to look forward to more content in the future. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.